Welcome back to NFL Snapwire. Let's get straight into it. For days, the New York Giants have been operating like a franchise on the brink of a reset. After years of chaos, losing seasons, and coaching turnover, the organization zeroed in on one name they believed could finally stabilize everything: John Harbaugh. A Super Bowl winning head coach. 18 seasons of credibility. A reputation as one of the NFL's most respected program builders. And yet, just when this hire looked inevitable, momentum suddenly slowed. According to multiple NFL insiders, the Giants and Harbaugh are now facing a significant delay, not because of dollars, but because of control, structure, and power inside the building. ESPN's Jordan Raanan was the first to pull the curtain back, reporting that while both sides remain engaged, there is still a gap to close before the deal is signed and sealed. An hour later, he added something important, still on track to get done. That update told us everything we needed to know. This deal isn't dead, but it isn't smooth either. And that matters. Because when a coach of Harbaugh's stature hesitates, it's never random. NFL insider Ian Rappaport added more fuel to the fire, making it clear this situation has nothing to do with salary. According to Rappaport, the holdup is about reporting structure, organizational authority, and who ultimately controls football decisions. In other words, this is about how the Giants operate from the top down. Who answers to whom? Who has final say on personnel? How much autonomy does the head coach actually have? These questions may sound boring to fans, but they are everything to someone like John Harbaugh. After nearly 2 decades in Baltimore, Harbaugh is not walking into another unstable situation without clarity. He's not chasing a paycheck. He's chasing alignment. And the Giants, whether they like it or not, have a reputation problem when it comes to that. What makes this delay even more telling is what didn't happen. John Harbaugh had options. Multiple teams expressed interest once it became clear his time in Baltimore was ending. The Titans were linked. The Falcons were mentioned. Other franchises quietly explored the possibility. Yet those scheduled stops? They vanished. Instead, Harbaugh walked into the Giants building on Wednesday and stayed focused there. That alone signals intent. The Giants weren't just another interview. They were the destination. But choosing the Giants doesn't mean accepting dysfunction. It means demanding change. To understand why this moment is so important, you have to look at where John Harbaugh comes from. His NFL journey began in 1998 with the Philadelphia Eagles, where he spent a decade learning under Andy Reid. That experience shaped him into a coach who values structure, accountability, and organizational unity. When Baltimore hired him in 2008, the Ravens were looking for leadership, not noise. What they got was one of the most stable coaching runs in modern NFL history. Harbaugh didn't just win games. He built a system. Over 18 seasons, he led the Ravens to 12 playoff appearances, multiple AFC championship games, and a Super Bowl victory in 2012. He survived roster turnover, coordinator changes, and even quarterback transitions, all while keeping Baltimore relevant year after year. His 180-113 record made him the winningest coach in Ravens history. More importantly, he created a culture that outlasted individual players. That's why this move matters so much for the Giants. Because culture is exactly what they've lost. Since winning Super Bowl 46 in 2011, the Giants have drifted into identity collapse. 11 losing seasons. 7 head coaches. Endless resets with no real direction. MetLife Stadium has become a place of frustration rather than belief. The Brian Daboll era was supposed to change that. Instead, it unraveled quickly. After another brutal 4-13 season and a humiliating collapse against Chicago, the organization pulled the plug. Reports that followed painted an even darker picture: a locker room without identity, leadership tension, and a franchise unsure of what it actually wanted to be. Over the last 3 seasons, the Giants posted a 13-38 record, the second worst stretch in the entire NFL. That's not a talent issue alone. That's a systems failure. And that's exactly why John Harbaugh makes sense. Around the league, Harbaugh's reputation is crystal clear. One league source told SNY, he's a program builder. He sets the tone for the entire building. The team comes first. Tough. Detail-oriented. He loves football. He cares about people. That's not coach speak. That's respect. And the Giants know they don't just need a play caller, they need an adult in the room. Someone who can walk into a fractured organization and immediately command authority. That's what makes this delay so critical. Because Harbaugh isn't asking for chaos, he's asking for clarity. Even during his visit, signs of alignment were already visible. Harbaugh met with top Giants executives and began setting expectations immediately. This wasn't a charm offensive. It was a working session. He also sat down with quarterback Jackson Dart, one of the most important pieces of the Giants' rebuild. That meeting mattered. It suggested Harbaugh is already thinking about development, structure, and long-term direction, not just headlines. He reportedly reviewed film on Dart and Cam Ward, signaling a hands-on approach from day one. That's classic Harbaugh. But for him to fully commit, the Giants must decide something fundamental. Are they ready to let a proven head coach truly run the program? This is where the tension lies. Joe Schoen's front office has been searching for stability, but stability requires trust. And trust means giving power to the right people. If the Giants want Harbaugh's leadership, they must be willing to reshape how the organization operates. Because John Harbaugh doesn't patch problems. He redesigns systems. That takes buy-in from ownership, the front office, and the locker room. And right now, those final details are still being negotiated. The good news for Giants fans? Every insider involved says this deal is still on track. The delay isn't a breakdown, it's a test. A test of whether the Giants are serious about change or just desperate for headlines. If they get this right, the payoff could be massive. For the first time in over a decade, the Giants could have a head coach with credibility, authority, and a long-term vision. Someone who brings order where there has been noise. Someone who makes New York make sense again. So now, Big Blue Nation waits. Because if the Giants close this gap and bring John Harbaugh to New York, it won't just be another hire, it'll be a statement. A statement that this franchise is finally ready to reset the right way. And if they don't, then this delay may end up being the moment that told us everything. For more breaking NFL news, coaching updates, and league-wide storylines, you're watching NFL Snapwire, and we'll see you next time.